wait again. Trump saying make America great again. Troy Ave saying bacon, water, whip, wait again. I'm wearing full of
crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Welcome back to In Black America Radio with your host, Rasta B. It is November 10th, 2017, coming to that end of that year. You know what I'm saying? One more month in the year. But it might be one more month on Blog Talk Radio. Guest calling number 646-716-4654. And today's title is pretty simple. I'm pretty much going to be reading from Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community, the Martin Luther King Show book. Chapter 2, which is titled Black Power, Part 2. Last time I just read just Part 1. We're going to build on Part 2 now. It's a lot of interesting things is going on in Part 2. And just to get on with the, just to let people know out here listening, the purpose of me reading Martin Luther King's book is because we're basically living the dream of Martin Luther King. And I don't mean that in a good way. So I figure it would only be right to read from the man's own ideology, his words, as he was putting this idea together. Because as you know, Rasta B don't believe in black leaders. We don't have black leaders. We never had black leaders. All we have is black men and black women living in a particular time of America who decided to do something. That's it. That's all we have. And it's our job to learn from these people, not to idolize them, not to feel inferior to them, and definitely not to make their mistakes. So, again, guest calling number 646-716-4654. I'm going to be reading from there because what a lot of people don't know about King is, again, the man just had an idea, a plan. Let me get some water. The man just had an idea, a plan. He laid his plan down, he executed. But within the plan, there's other activities going on, and you get to understand his reasoning. We're not going to criticize King. We're not going to even disrespect his thought process, because that was the common thought process of the day. The purpose of reading from Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community, is to show you or to draw parallels between the beginning stages of what we're living now, the thought processes of what we're living now, and what the game plan was of what we're living now back then. Because my thing is, if you read, once we read this and we draw the similarities and comparisons, and you notice, oh, wow, that concept was in 1960-something, when you hear people say it now in 2017, then you can understand that, oh, okay, that's not even original thought. You won't hear no more black people saying, oh, that was deep. No, that's not even original thought. That was tried. It don't even work. So that's what we're going to be really building upon. Now, as you know, right now, Smoke, normally I bring Smoke in. Smoke is running a little late, so once he logs in, I'll bring him in. A lot has changed since last time we spoke. Last time we spoke was the 3rd of Friday. Today's the 10th. And Election Day didn't happen yet. Election Day didn't happen yet. There was a lot of wins on the Democratic side, but it shouldn't be a shock because all of that is part of the process. All of that is part of the program. Remember, when Barack Obama was president, he had control over Congress and the Senate. And then around the same time, Republicans started to gain a little traction. So you're not supposed to get hype off of things of this nature. You're supposed to just observe and really understand how this whole gameplay, how this whole plan going to play out. You saw it was a couple of trannies, maybe 3 of them, that got seats now. How is that going to fare over? You see? How's that going to fare over? Maybe a lot of people didn't give a fuck about the 2017 election. There might be some more galvanization in 2018. We got the situation out here in Atlanta, Mary Norwood versus Keisha. Let me Google her name. I was up all day, so my brain's not really working. And I don't want to say the sister's name wrong, but it's Keisha Lance Bottom. I was thinking Keisha Knight Bottom, but that's because of Keisha Knight Pulliam. I was up all day. I didn't get no rest, so my mind's a little spacey right now. But the December 5th, I want to say, is supposed to be the runoff election for them. So one thing's for sure, as my cousin Gabe would say, 2 things for certain. There's going to be a woman mayor in Atlanta. The question is she going to be a black mayor or a white mayor? Rasta B, I am hedging my bet that Mary Norwood going to pull it off. I was wrong last time I said it because I thought she was going to be Kasim. See, this is the way you got to look at elections. It's not even real power, but it's about, when it comes to black people, it's the numbers game. So you say to yourself, before the gentrification and I could say migration, for lack of a better term, you could really say the exodus of black people outside of Atlanta pushed more into the Clayton County area. The question is, how did gentrification and the pushing of blacks out of Atlanta, how would that affect the election? Just like I said with the Donald Trump. Trump don't win, that means the white power structure in this country is falling, which it is. This might be their last hurrah, but the point is, they still have a leg. If Keisha Lance Bottoms win, trust me, that is the last hurrah of a black Atlanta, which was cold when I first moved to Atlanta in the early 90s. Black Atlanta. If Mary Norwood win, then that means gentrification worked, and the pushing of black people worked, and now they have Atlanta. That's how you have to look at it. Because, see, black people don't have economic power because we don't have economy. So you have to look at it on a numbers game. If black people still have a strong grasp on Atlanta, we will know come election time. Now, one indication is the fact that the sister, Keisha Lance Bottoms, had, I believe, 27%, with Mary Norwood having 21%. or something of that nature. That's an indication of the power structure. The flip side of that is there was a lot of candidates in the field. So what happened when it's just two? You see? What happened when it's just two? A smart betting man would bet on Keisha Lance Bottoms to win because it's all favor to her to win. It's really her election to lose. But me, I'm not afraid to be wrong. That's why I'm saying they never know we're going to win. If I'm wrong, I have no problem being wrong. But I'm more so concerned about who really controls Atlanta, politically speaking. And we're about to find out. 40 years, there was no white mayor. So 40 years, 2 generations, 220. We have to ask ourselves, what have black people done to strengthen their position in those 40 years? Because if we ain't do shit in those 40 years, we don't deserve Atlanta. Am I lying? Think about it. If you had 40 years in Atlanta and you didn't do shit to strengthen your position like the Jews would do, like the like the Latinos would do, like the Arabs would do, or any other foreigner would do, like the Asians who have Chinatowns all across the fucking United States, tell them what they did in 40 years. Ask them how long Crown Heights been controlled by fucking Jews and shit. Ask how long Bensonhurst was controlled by the fucking Italians. And then ask yourself how long was we in slums and ghettos. So we got to think that, you know? Now, what I want to do is, because of an election that happened in Virginia, which was an important election that everyone likes to speak on, this is the election of Robert. Let me get the actual title. The actual title is from Roland Martin. I want to play it because this guy already won. He already won the election. But I want you to hear him before he wins, before the win. So you can know, you know what I'm saying, like this is like how the game works. But before we do that, let me go ahead and bring in my co-host Smoke. Smoke, are you there? Yup. Yeah, man. What's going on, man? Shit.
Yeah, running a little late, but, you know, I'm here. Big Friday in the building.
Yeah, man. I had to just cut the music short, you know what I'm saying? Because I figured, man, it's going to be a lot of reading going on. So I wanted to make sure that we had the time and things of this nature, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want us to be out there fucked up. But, yeah, man, I got a new book that came in, too, man, that I'm just been flicking through. This book is another book written by a white boy. Talking about
what's the name?
Talking about his people. It's called The Peculiar Institution: Slavery in the Antebellum South by Kenneth M. Stamp with 2 P's. Yeah. Okay. And you know how I got it? I got it.
Yeah, I was just about to.
Where do we go from here? Yeah, I got it from where do we go from here? Yeah, the reference that King did. So when I read what he was referencing, you know me, I said, well, goddamn, let me see what this book is about. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty interesting. But you know what? I want to, before we go into the talk, because it's really only one video I got to play, I want to play this clip, right? I don't think I'm going to play the whole clip. I will be playing the majority. It's a 7-minute clip. The title is Roland Martin. It's all eyes on Virginia governor race tightening. Ralph Northam discussed the current state of the race. I want you to listen because I want you to hear how Democrats play black people. Like, he's going to try to be tough to ask questions and just pay attention how he doesn't even answer shit. And it's important to listen to this because he won. You dig what I'm saying?
You said this was a Virginia race?
Yeah, this is a Virginia race.
All right.
So he already wins. But this is before he won. This is on November 6th. So watch this.
Right, you got black folks running for mayor in Minneapolis, St. Paul, of course, a lot of folks running in Atlanta. We're also, though, looking at also a recall for Karen Weaver in Flint is also tomorrow. A lot of eyes, though, on Virginia. You got Justin Fairfax, of course, running for Lieutenant Governor. I just chatted with him on TV1. But joining us right now is Ralph Northam, who is running for the Democratic candidate for governor. He's the current Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Lieutenant Governor Northam, welcome to the Sound Journal Morning Show on TV1. Good morning. Thanks for having me on today. It is a tight race there. Polls show, some polls show Gillespie up a couple of points. I got to first ask you at the outset, there have been a lot of black folks out there here from Virginia. I live in Virginia who feel as if the party has not done enough for a strong black get out the vote turnout campaign. What are you doing between now and tomorrow to drive black turnout and overall turnout in Virginia? Well, you know, we've been campaigning around Virginia, and there's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm, excitement. People literally come out and say, you know, what can I do to help? How can I get involved? And I think a lot of it is related to the campaign that Mr. Trump ran in 2016, and now a lot of the detrimental policies that are certainly coming out of Washington. And, you know, we're traveling around. We're united as a ticket. We have a great ticket. We've got a lot of great candidates running for the House of Delegates. And, you know, we're talking about jobs. Virginians want a job that they can support themselves and their families. They want to know that their children have access to world-class education, want to know that their families have access to affordable and quality health care. So, you know, that's our message. We've run a very positive campaign. It's resonating, and we're looking forward to a good day tomorrow. What is your specific plan for HBCUs in Virginia? I have gone to the website of Republican candidate Ed Gillespie. I don't even see HBCUs mentioned. What are you going to do for the HBCUs in Virginia if you're a governor? Well, obviously, education is very important in Virginia, and we have a lot of great options, good colleges and universities, and you know, we've had good relationship with them. They play a major part in education in Virginia, so we'll continue to do everything we can to support these schools, colleges, and universities. But will we see an increase in funding for your public HBCUs there? And what will you do when it comes to research and development for the private HBCUs in Virginia? Well, as you know, we have a tag program for some of our private colleges, tuition assistant grant, research and development, very, very important. Obviously, the more talent we can bring into Virginia, talent attracts other talent, and certainly that's important for workforce development. We're training people for 21st century jobs. As you know, we refer to them as STEM or STEAM-related jobs, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. So these are all very important. And, you know, it's all about leadership, and it's all about priorities. And, you know, right now we do well in our statewide races, our governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. But we need to get rid of gerrymandering. We need to change some of these seats. I tell people all the time, you know, we try to work with folks, but sometimes you can't change their mind, so we have to change their seats. And we need like-minded people that can make these things priorities for us in Virginia. Republican Gillespie.
Wait, just so I could put a little clarity on what's going on. So, Smoke, the reason why I played that clip, because what's important about it is because Omarosa fights for HBCUs. None of these Negroes stand with her. None of them stand with her. And what we don't realize is when you don't stand with Omarosa, stand with Ben Carson, and these black people, what happened is their value in the Republican Party in this Trump administration is useless if you don't stand with them. The Congressional Black Caucus talked all they shit they talk, and Trump didn't want to, while ignoring the fact that Barack ain't do shit for HBCU. Now, not Tom Joyner, because it's being syndicated through the Tom Joyner show, this whole TV One show. That's why you heard the lady in the background speak, because she's on the radio. But Roland Martin asked him twice, what are you going to do for the HBCU? And twice, he never even mentioned HBCUs. He just spoke general about school. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a Democrat. And the thing that kills me is, once again, like the motto for the founding father for the Congressional Black Caucus, we don't have permanent enemies, we don't have permanent friends, we just have permanent interests. We don't follow that. We look at the Democrats like they're our permanent friends and allies. We look at Republicans like they're our permanent enemies and foes. So we'll sit here now, have a sister like Omarosa saying, I'm going to fight for HBCUs and more funding for HBCUs and things of this nature, which Roland Martin and all these other boulets agree with, because they're all part of that whole chapter, that whole organization, and they will go against Omarosa to stand with the Democrats. And when asking the Democrats, what are you going to do for HBCU, they don't even give them an answer. And guess what? We cool with that. We cool. We have no strategy. We have no fight. We have no competition about us. We're patsies. Was it patsies or whatever the fuck the word is? That's what we are. We patsies. We have no game plan. Just like I said, we got the Black Caucus. Caucus is aligned with the Democrats. Conferences is aligned with the Republicans. Every other group have both except us. We only got Democrats. Now he's asking this Democrat, and this white dude wins. He wins the governor's race, Ralph Northam. And Roland Martin is asking, and he's giving him fluff answers. But we're cool because that's a Democrat. Now watch this, man.
Hitting you on the issue of extending voting rights to the formerly incarcerated. Are you going to continue what Terry McCullough did, and that is extending voting rights to the formerly incarcerated in Virginia? You know, that's something that we are so proud of in Virginia. We've restored the rights of over 156,000 Virginians. You know, I think that everybody would agree that we're all human. We all make mistakes, and once we have paid back our time that was given to us by a judge or a jury, one of the best things that we can do is restore rights so that folks can get back with their families into society and be able to vote again. And so I commend Terry McCullough. He's restored more rights than anybody as a governor, and I will continue that. I would also remind people, you know, we're being attacked by the other side right now for restoration of rights. There are 40 other states that do this automatically. This wouldn't be an issue in other states. So we're just trying to do what's right, and to be attacked. The other side is just continuing to be divisive, promoting hatred, fear, bigotry, just like our president. And, you know, that's not the Virginia way. That's why our message is resonating. That's why we're going to have a big day tomorrow in Virginia.
Phil, real quick, before you ask a question, I want everybody to listen. The reason Virginia put this in place to take voting rights away from formerly incarcerated, it goes back to 1902 when a state senator said this is to keep the darkies from voting. That's a factually correct statement. Right. That's why. That's exactly. So the Republicans are defending an effort here that was put in place to keep darkies from voting. So that's factually there. So go ahead.
I just want to know about the blackface on your ticket. Justin Fairfax in the talk about his not being properly in the forefront of this election campaign, such as removing his face from some of the campaign literature.
That's something that could have been handled better. We have resolved that. We are moving forward. Justin and I go back a ways. We are great friends. He is going to be a great lieutenant governor. He has a wonderful family. Our families are very close to each other. We're united. We're on the same ticket. We're Mark here and Justin Fairfax and me. We've been campaigning around Virginia. I'm getting ready to go around the state again with Justin and Mark. And we couldn't be more united, couldn't be more proud of our ticket, and we're all three going to win tomorrow.
Now, Pete, right before they get into the Tom join the show now, right? Because now they're going to start to ask the question because he's about to get off. He didn't address specifically the HBCU. He said by name and addressed it specifically the whole referendum of restoring the right to people that went to jail and came back home. He specifically mentioned that. And then the sister asked, okay, what's up with some of your flyers or whatever not having the black face on there? And he didn't even really address that. He just talked about how good friends they are.
Me and Justin are good friends, and, that's been addressed already.
And this isn't a Republican, though. This is a Democrat. This is not a Republican. Now, after I heard this, I was like, wow, he ain't really say shit. Now, watch this. Just to show you, I wasn't even tripping. Watch this.
Blessed did an interview with a local radio one affiliate in Richmond, but he refused to come on this show and talk about the issues. And I do know there were some black Republicans who were saying he should do it, but Ed Gillespie, I'm sorry, one interview with black folks ain't enough if you're going to be the governor for everybody in Virginia. And let me ask you this, Roland, are you satisfied with the answers that Mr. Northern just gave concerning the issue? I want to see specifics. If he wins, I want to see a very specific plan for HBCUs because that is critical for African Americans advancing in this country. And so I want to see resources targeting that. So absolutely, that's what I want to see. So the answer is no. I want to see more statistics. No, that's what I want to see.
Ain't that something funny, right? Ain't that funny shit?
No, it's just something I want to see. All right, so after he wins, after he get what he need already, then you expect him to.
Now you want to see. And the funny thing is, right before Tom Joyner said that, he's giving it to his opponent. And we offered Gillespie to speak, and he did not speak. Gillespie, you can't speak to one black thing to speak to all and all of that shit. And that's when Tom Joyner like, well, hold on, all right, did you like the answers you got from the Democrat, the Robert Norton? Because okay, he came on your platform, but he didn't even say shit. The other dude didn't even come on your platform and ain't say shit. Okay, he ain't come on your platform and he ain't say shit. This dude came on your platform and ain't say shit. And then when he asked him, are you satisfied with the answers? And it's like, wow, like, okay, so you just happy that he came on your show? He ain't got to say nothing?
Yeah, he'll stick to the side without a clear agenda. So it really don't matter. It's just like, yo, Democrat. Fuck the agenda. So he just clearly brushed over all of the shit. And so, we could say what we say. We have a perspective, but Tom Joyner just said it. Like, yo, it ain't, we're not crazy, you know what I'm saying? So he clearly brushed it off. So that means he basically don't give a damn about your agenda. But, at the same time, we will stick to this. So you're cool.
He give a damn about one agenda, right? He give a damn about one agenda. Restoring the rights for incarcerated voters.
Right.
Y'all need to keep voting. We don't care about shit else, but you keep on voting. We'll make sure you do that. And that's it.
It's sad, you know what I'm saying? And again, these are people that we look up to, you know what I'm saying, in a sense. So anytime black issues occur, No, I'm talking about.
Don't forget, he won. Oh, Roland Martin.
Yeah, Roland Martin, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was referring to. But, like, you know, when black issues come up, these are people who speaking. These are people who got shows. These are people who got platforms. So, again, for the listener, you got to pay attention to who talking, what they saying, because that's a clear indication with that clip that there's a bunch of buffoonery just going on there. It ain't no plan, there's no agenda, which is going to equal to no results and more complaining.
And you got to think for yourself. You got to think for yourself. I'm listening to this shit, and I was like, what? I said, yo, this ain't say shit. And literally, when Tom Joyner was like, hey, are you cool with the answers I just had? I was like, okay, I thought I was tripping. I thought I was bugging. He sounded like he fucking giving him the curve. Straight up.
Yeah.
You sound like
political shit.
And then as soon as we got to the end, schedule, what Roland Martin do? Start attacking the Republican who didn't come on. This racist cracker, let's jump that up. Hold on. Let's look at the Democratic side, too. Both of them telling you ain't going to do shit for you. But you mad at one side because you set tripping. Let's call it what it is. You set tripping. Them niggas being red. Yeah. You being blue, them niggas being red. So anything that they say you against, you don't even want to listen to. And this isn't Gillespie versus the Norton dude. No, this is really our ideology. This is our ideology I'm speaking on. That you can have somebody come on your platform and not answer your fucking question. And you cool. You cool with that. Because he came on your show. But your biggest gripe is the other side didn't come on your show. That's more of a bigger deal than the fact that the guy that came on your show didn't do shit. That's Hillary coming on your show, and all Hillary doing is gossiping and doing the nay, and we all like, oh, I just love Hillary.
And they're going to say, shit.
Yeah. And then watch this. Yeah, come on. You know, I never leave without my hot sauce. Ain't that right? Ain't that right, boo?
Man, that's what's in that fucking. That's what's in that Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial, man. That shit.
Yo,
finger-licking.
Right? Mary J. Blige came inside and started singing a chicken hymn and shit, man. I'm like,
man,
what?
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah. Mary J. Blige said, come down here. I got to speak to you about some deep issues out here in the community. When she started singing a fucking song of pain and shit, I'm like, why are we singing? How to talk? Like to that point. We to that point, but again, he won. But look who y'all got in North. Yeah. Now the question is, keep your eyes on the HBCU. Let's see if the funding, because if the funding don't happen, you can't. Then what do you do next? We keep getting played. We get played because we don't understand the game. We don't understand the game. That's all that shit is. You know how many arguments I be having, Smoke, on Facebook trying to keep beating the same dead horse, telling black people we need to build an economy. So watch this. They got a brother. You know what? I think I might be able to just page real quick. They got a brother who apparently he won like $52 million in the lottery, right? So they're calling him a businessman, which I thought was weird, you know, because you know me. If your mind and your business didn't generate this money, I can't call you a businessman. You see what I'm saying? You won that shit through a lottery. That's how I feel. But nonetheless, they got a brother. I ran across the story. He have something called the Pilgrim Group, Pilgram Group, right? Y'all can Google that. His name is Miguel Pilgrim. So it goes like this: the Pilgrim Group is a family-owned company consisting of several different entities. Each has a specific focus on a certain aspect of the real estate business to include property acquisition, valuation, renovation, management, and term lending for investment. In business since 2010, so they only been in business for 7 to 8 years, because, we're coming to the end of the year. Well, so then I can't count that. About 7 years. The Pilgrim Group focuses on renovating commercial, residential, and maritime real estate, mostly in the Fort Lauderdale area, and tapping opportunities that help the community grow and rebuild. In 2015, our company created the New York Sub and Wings brand and launched a food truck to support the brand. Currently, Pilgrim is placing his faith and his money in the Sistrunk in downtown area of Fort Lauderdale, with a Pilgrim Group headquarters and executive suites, an upscale eatery and jazz lounge, a fast casual eatery, and a clothing and accessory line on the horizon. So they have one thing he have called the Miguel Duvon Collection. The Pilgrim Group launched the Miguel Duvon Collection, which is a line of custom shirts and accessories for men. New York Sub and Wings. We offer quality fresh food at a fair price, real food by real people, real fast, not fast food. He have a jazz lounge. The New York Sub and Wing Jazz Lounge is an upscale eatery located in downtown Fort Lauderdale and is launching in late 2017. Real estate development. The Pilgrim Group specializes in renovation, investment, and management of multifamily commercial property. Executive Suites. The Pilgrim Group Executive Suites are located in the heart of downtown Fort Lauderdale and perfect for small business owners. So it goes. Our company feels a responsibility to give back by providing meaningful jobs, creating a stronger, more vibrant community, and doing the unexpected when no one is watching. I feel a responsibility to give back, not only by helping my family through meaningful jobs, but also by creating a stronger, more vibrant community. Our company has built solid relationships with a plethora of Florida organizations that need our help. If our team has the opportunity to be of service to others, we'll gladly take on the challenge. Now, this is a black man, okay? This is what this black man is doing. I have no problem with what the black man is doing. Salute to the brother. But you already know what my issues are. I don't like the customer-based, service-based businesses that we like to always create. See what I'm saying, Smoke? The retail, the clothing accessory for men, the jazz lounge. You know what I'm saying? Right. The New York Sub and Wings, I'm a little torn. I would appreciate it more if they had also the chicken farm. You dig what I'm saying? If they had the farm there too, that they're dealing with chicken. Real estate development and executive suites. Everything is based upon someone having money and paying you. So if the money get dried up, then guess what? So is all the businesses that you have. We have to create businesses that produces shit. They have to produce shit.
Industry.
It cannot just be service-based. industry. Yeah. If you're telling me that you have a chicken farm and you're shipping chicken to different black locations that make chicken, I can see how that can, rebuild and flourish into something. If you're telling me you're producing, like I said, plates and tissues and, light bulbs or fans and furniture or, things of this nature, I get that. But if you're telling me we open up a lounge, you dig what I'm saying? Then that means you're hiring people to work for you, but you're also relying on the same people to spend their money with you. But if I don't have money, then I cannot participate. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we have to get past that. We need to be making socks and, underwears and things of this nature.
More so because it affects more people and it creates a wider umbrella. Like, for example, like with these, like with the clubs and stuff that he's opening, it's gonna affect that area. It was in Fort Lauderdale, so that community, people in that area will be able to go there and, of course, spend their money or whatever. But with like the industries, let's say like you have a T-shirt factory. So you got somewhere where you got farmland with cotton, and you take the cotton to your factory and you make T-shirts. Those T-shirts can be sold wherever. So it's not just the community right there where your factory is or where the farms are that people work on. It affects those communities, but then the product itself, that shit could be sold to Thailand somewhere. You could sell that shit anywhere. And so, like, it affects a bigger, it's like just a wider market, basically, a bigger opportunity. And then, plus, when you add in the points that you made a few moments ago, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's more of a success rate, in my opinion, because, again, you have economic woes, economy swing, have a downturn in the economy, that's a loss there. You don't have people coming into your retail gym and, the other, the bar and things that he wants to build. And so now it's just property sitting there. And if you don't have the money to maintain that part of it, you're going to end up selling it or losing it. And, that's a loss. And $52 million, that's a lot of bread. So you definitely could be talking
there's a lot of bread.
type of talk when, when you're talking that amount of money. So, best of luck to him and shit. The thing I like about it, though, is, like, it seemed like he's trying to revitalize, a black community. So, that part of it is like...
You can't revitalize a community without an economy. You can't do it.
I feel what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? You can't really, that's like you your house in foreclosure, and then you start to remodel your house. And you're sitting in foreclosure.
His heart in the right place, but it's like the strategies,
That's my whole shit. But hold on, we got a caller.
Greetings.
Caller, what's your name? Calling from. Hey, greetings.
Hi, guys.
What's your name?
This is Sapphire again. I'm listening to you, brother. I'm listening to this righteous talk. If I can add something in, my brother, and I want your opinion on this now. I've been listening to the show. Now, I want you to know I agree with you, with what you said about the nightclub and about them not making items for the consumer that are conducive to our everyday lives. For example, what I'm saying is we really don't need nightclubs, churches, and liquor stores in the black community. Those are everywhere, in my opinion. But then I thought about this after the last show that you guys had like a couple of weeks ago when I called in, and I thought about this. And I thought about, why do we patronize Asian businesses, Arab businesses? Because they study us. And they make sure to have stores that supply what we need. Toilet paper, toothpaste, toothbrushes, socks, underwear, shit like that. Smoke shops, people who work hard, sometimes they smoke when they get off work. They spend their weekend smoking and kicking back watching sports. And I thought about this. Yeah. What if people, I saw this because I went into a smoke shop. You know how they sell incense, cigars, and everything? They also sell big, huge bags of this sweet tobacco that people make swishers out of. So I went online, and you can buy big, huge bags of that tobacco wholesale for only like $5. One of those bags could make like 500 swishers, and somebody could sell those in the neighborhood because I know it's not healthy, but people are going to go buy it from the Asian and the Arab man anyway. And right. So what if people could, somebody, like people have a candy house, what if they could start their own where they sell cherry-scented, cigars? Not only that, how about making socks and underwear and toilet paper that is cost-efficient? Because when you have a business that satisfies a need, that's really an iron in the fire for you. But when you have a business that satisfies what people want, like they want to go to the club and catch a brother or catch a woman, that is not a necessity. That's something you do. Right. You know what I'm saying? That is that deals with something else in your life. That's right. Another dimension, another realm. But you need to wipe your butt. You need socks. You need soap. Soap is easy to make, and I want to say this. I buy soap from a black man. His Good wife job. Makes it. I can only use that soap now. I'm dependent upon him for my soap. So I'm saying we need to start small with the bare necessities of life. Make detergent. Make dishwashing liquid. That shit is easy to make. Make soap. Yep. Make socks. I have a Jamaican friend who I worked with, and she looked at me. We were having Christmas. You know how you exchange gifts. And she looked at me, and she said, "What's your favorite color?" And I said, "I don't know. I pretty much like everything." I said, "But I do like forest green for this season." The next day, she brought me a dress. And when I tell you that dress looked so good on me, questions, I was like, "How did you know my size? How did you make it fit my hips so good?" And she's a seamstress. She was a seamstress as a little girl in Jamaica. But she came here and was doing something else where she could have made so much money being a seamstress. And so I said all that to say this. We need to start with the bare necessities of life. Can you make toothpaste? Can you make hair grease? Can you make soap? Shit like that. I want to know what you think about that.
Oh, yeah.
That's real.
I do. I definitely agree with it because what happens when you do that, you eliminate the need for boycotting. Because I don't have to boycott Target. I could just relocate my money. It's not going to be a weekend boycott. No. Now it's part of our DNA that we only buy these toothbrushes, this type of toothpaste, this type of dishwashing liquid, and things of this nature. Then that's generating money. Then that's going to fund that same business now to say, okay, let's get the toilet tissues, the Pampers, and the paper towels, sanitation napkins, and things of this nature. Now that's more money being generated. And after a while, we should basically be able to fill up a Dollar General type store, like a black Dollar General or Black Family Dollar, where when we go into these stores, we can shop there. And then we don't have to worry about, this racist store. They're not hiring and stuff. Nope, we don't care no more because we can take care of ourselves with the bare necessities. Once we handle the bare necessities, then we can go up to the next level of what else do we need. Socks, underwear, T-shirts, bras, panties. Okay, next level. Furniture, beds, fans, light bulbs, next level. television, because that's what everybody else do. They crawl up. And you're absolutely right about the other races. They look at what black people need and say, okay, it's a food desert here. No problem. I'm gonna open up a grocery store. So they'll have some cheap grocery store, Save Right or something like that, and they'll have their stuff in there, and we'll flood it up, buy up all this stuff with our EBT cards, which is just the government transferring the money through us to another group of people, and then they get rich off of it. And then we complain by our treatment, and then we mistake that with racism, white supremacy, when that's really us being put into a vulnerable state to be taken advantage of. And because nobody tells us the reason why this is happening is because you don't have an economy and you're not taking care of your own people, so you're begging other races to do it for you, that's why they treat you like that. They'll rather turn around and say, no, it's racism, white supremacy. So then we feel like, well, we need to fight against that when we need to be building our own stuff. And then we'll see everybody else fall. Because everybody exploits us.
Everybody,
so I totally agree.
Everybody, and they give us, like you said, and I said, they give us what we need. And I want you all to know this. In college, researching products and information, and there was this class actually on propaganda, but our assignment was to research the environment, the economic environment. Long story short, we came to the word consumer. Up until the 1950s, hear me clearly, this shocked me. The word consumer was a degenerate. A consumer was considered to be a leech. A consumer was an individual or an entity that had nothing of its own, that sucked off the mammary gland of another.
Wow.
So then let's move fast forward to this year, 2017, and consumer is glorified. You're in the house if you can buy all kind of bullshit. You see what I'm saying? Sell all this Asian makeup and hair and all these wave caps and this simple shit that it only takes 2 steps to make. You can go to the fabric wholesale store and make wave caps. It's extremely simple.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying here is that we don't want to be consumers. We want to have a culture that provides for itself. When you shop within your culture, and then you begin to have a standard of product that you rely on. For example, if you notice, when Nigerians come here, they have their own stores because there's a certain kind of yam, a certain kind of food. Caribbeans, they have their own stores because they have a diet that they are consistent with. We will buy shit from Asians, Arabs, anybody, and you wonder how come some of us end up getting poisoned and be sick all the damn time. If they don't like you, why would you eat their food? I don't understand why any black person would eat Asian fast food. You have got to be crazy. They eat anything with a heartbeat. And you're going to eat from their restaurant? Come on now. And they don't like you, and you will eat their food. I know I'm getting a little emotional here, but we just need to think about these things.
No, you're right, because we will screw our face up at African food. We'll screw our face up at West Indian food, but run to the Chinese man. Run to him and eat whatever he gives us, knowing that he eats cat, rat, and dog.
And look, it was only 4 years ago. You guys research this, Google this. They got caught. The Federal Food and Drug Enforcement Agency caught the Chinese government shipping, I think it was 12 metric tons of cat meat. Cat and rat meat. Now, who were they going to send that to? You know they only buy from one another. They were probably sending it to the Chinese fast food restaurant. That undiscernible meat that's in your fried rice, that's probably rat or cat. I don't care who gets their feelings hurt, but some of that shit ain't meat. It's not what you're thinking it is. The consistency of it is off. And you never see them eating that shit they sell you. You never see them eat it. But you will go in there and eat it?
When I was in Brooklyn, I used to say, I've never seen a truck pull up and even deliver food for them too.
Oh, my God.
You know
my brother. Let me tell you how true you are. A close friend of mine, her uncle was a trash man. He would not. This is how I stopped eating Chinese food. I was a teenager. He took us to our favorite restaurant for her birthday, but he wouldn't eat. He would only drink water, and he was sipping that. And he said, I'll tell you why I don't eat this food afterwards. We got in the car. We're driving. He looked us dead in our eyes and said, I have been a trash collector for 30 years. They never have trash. Never. He said, what does that tell you? Did you hear what this man said? They never have trash.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I
never ate anything from them since.
Yeah, I don't eat from them. And if you ever look on your local news, anytime there's a restaurant felon inspection, I bet money it's a Chinese restaurant. That me and my brother, we crack a joke about it all the time. Anytime we see it's a felon inspection on a restaurant, we automatically say, I bet you it's a Chinese restaurant. And it's always a Chinese restaurant. But we just run there and eat all day. It's crazy. It's crazy. But thanks for the call, sister. I see another call. We're going to grab this other call.
Okay. Peace be on you, brother.
Listening. Peace, sister. And we have another call. Call 314-381. What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Bianchi.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, I noticed a kind of little slur in your voice. You been eating that Chinese food, huh?
Nah, I need to take a nap. But I'm fighting to stay up.
You got kind of like a little meow in your voice, man. It's meow. Yeah. But no, man. A couple of things have developed. One, our president has done about $250, $60 billion, made possible about $250 billion with 38 U.S. corporations, combining with Chinese corporations, everything from Boeing to the state of West Virginia, or maybe it was Virginia. And one can look at what these companies are going to need in order to carry out or fulfill their part of the business. And they should look at being some sort of a supplier or a consultant or providing testing service, providing some sort of logistics. It's unlimited, the opportunities. And if their health plan goes through, I think I told you this maybe last week, see, they should put that down to the states. Federal government has no business doing that for two reasons. I'm going to talk about the one reason. Is because when you put it to the states, it allows individuals, small companies, to get involved in it, rather than leaving it at the White House, not the White House, at the Capitol Hill, where you have politicians being inundated by lobbyists representing insurance companies and so on and so on and so on, and spending money with them, lobbying, slinging dollars around for campaigns and so on and so on. But if you form an insurance pool, if you represent a group of people, everything from the Church of God in Christ, Southern Baptist organizations, from farmers associations, activist groups, Black Lives Matter, NAACP, NOI. Now you can combine. You should try to make the meetup between those people and your insurance pool and the rates that your insurance pool can offer. You can make money at that.
Yeah,
so that's a good opportunity.
We not. We ain't we ain't trying to compete. We ain't trying to fight. We just gonna complain and stuff. That's it. There's a lot of opportunities. Instead of us following the wrong path, we need to be trying to carve out our own.
Well, like I say, I don't know why. I heard LeBron James make remarks about our president. Well, that was dumb to me. Now, he do what he want to, but I sure in the hell wouldn't want to do that because this man, somebody sitting at that position, has the ability to network you with, untamed numbers of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't forget, do they? I mean, you're hearing females coming back after 50 years saying that such and such sexually abused me and wasn't nobody there but me and him. And he wanted me to play with his penis, and I wouldn't do that even if it was erect. How in the hell you as a child know about an erect penis? Think about it. So, no, there's a lot of opportunities out there. You just got to take advantage of them. Agriculture.
And that's my whole thing. It's like we got to take advantage of, like, for example, Trump is screaming Bowen since day one.
Mm-hmm.
Since day one. Bowen is what, $200 something a share? So it's like, instead of us looking at how we could benefit of the current climate, we're following, like even with the example you said with the LeBron James. We don't know how LeBron James vote. He's going to be the first billionaire athlete. How we know he's not a Republican? How we know on the outside he's not saying, yeah, we don't agree with Trump, but behind scenes, a lot of these rich guys are Republicans telling us what to do. Black telling us what to do.
The Republicans don't want to get away want to do away with the death taxes or inheritance tax. So if LeBron James become a billionaire and he got those two sons, I think he has two sons. So suppose he wanted to pass that money on to them. Do he want it to be taxed at 60% rate? I'm not talking about earnings now. I'm talking about money you already got in the bank. Both of you got money in the bank. And now we know you don't reach that threshold. But suppose you did. You may mention about some guy who had $52 million in the lottery. That money would fall under that category.
No.
So if he wanted to leave that to his family, hell no, they're going to tax it. I mean, it's in the bank. In the bank. He don't pay taxes off the winnings. It's in the bank sitting there. But if something happened to him, he say, well, I want my Malcolm to have this, and I want Abina to have this. I say, no. First, we got to tax this. That's a bunch of bull crap.
That's crazy. 60%?
And that's what them Democrats want to do, man. You probably, and also some silly Republicans, too. But and another thing. You got people talking about starting backyard gardens and all this stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, why don't you get a lot and grow food on that lot and sell it? Now, guess what? That lot can apply for federal agriculture subsidies. Yeah. Go on the United States Department of Agriculture, to the website, and they talk about subsidies to farmers. And the list start off with the big subsidy, like the millions of dollars going to farms. But guess what? Getting to the bottom of that list get down to talking about $10,000, $5,000, $200. Then if you look at the addresses, and if you do a Google map, these are lots in the middle of the damn hood.
And that's good to know because a lot of us, if we don't know that, we're supposed to be having lots farming and wondering why is it so hard and not realizing that you're playing the game wrong. You should be doing it this way, and then this is how you could benefit off of doing that. So that's good.
Absolutely.
That's good information.
Yeah, the United States Department of Agriculture with their farm subsidy program is not. If you grow cabbage and tomatoes on a lot in the hood, is that not a farm? It's classified as a farm. You selling food. You sell some new tomatoes. Now you classified as a farm.
Yeah, that's some good. Definitely some good.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my sharing for this week. Next week I'll come in and share something else.
That's right. It's always appreciated. It's always appreciated. Yeah.
And check this out. Wait a minute, check this out. The California NAACP has got a campaign to do away with the national anthem. Why don't you have a campaign to teach groups of black people about what we just got through talking? The hell with the national anthem.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If that ain't about a waste of damn time.
They push us towards emotional shit. They push us towards emotional shit. That we're not, like I always say, that if Republicans said, you know what, any black that lives in the community and open a business for the next 10 years, you don't got to pay taxes. And a Democrat could say, well, we want just to have more jobs for blacks. We would still vote Democrat. Not realizing, wait a minute, this dude just said if you start a business where you live, you don't got to pay taxes for 10 years. So we would still vote Democrat.
Yeah, you know the next thing they do? They create this division, which is really a roadblock. They start talking about the rich is getting away with this tax plan. The rich ain't paying no taxes. They denigrate the rich so bad that you don't even want to become one. You want to stay down on the bottom end of the scale. And I'm not saying you. I'm just using, the word in general.
Yeah.
They are scared. It's a roadblock. Man, if I become rich, then I'll get a mindset I don't want to pay taxes and everybody be talking about whatever. I keep telling you, it's wild.
Yeah, and that's why I always keep screaming, got to build an economy. That's why I'm glad the sister called in, Sapphire, speaking on starting things that we need local, because that's how we have to think. We got to stop thinking emotional. We got to stop looking at what white people have and say, we need to be on that level. If you look at white people right now, they really messed up. They really messed up.
Man, white folks is messed up, man. Whites are some of the dumbest idiots on the planet. I don't know where people get this shit about white folks all that damn smart. You got some of the dumbest fools on the planet is white. I tell you the truth. But she also mentioned about the liquor store. Some brothers or sisters need to be in their kitchen brewing up a particular innovative drink.
Yeah, man.
Then go to the next step of being able to manufacture that drink. Whether, I don't know, what's some of the popular drinks that come in them pretty bottles? Speedy or some stuff like that. Y'all can tell I don't drink. But no, the whole thing about it, man, is get in the kitchen, start brewing up your own stuff. And as long as it don't explode, you might have something that be the next Seagram's or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
because
true.
See, I know out here in Atlanta, we have a lot of breweries. And they make a lot of local beer in Atlanta. So, all that could be done. You got to
get the equipment so you can then get the equipment so you can get away from them pots and pans on the stove and start doing the damn thing highly productive. Then go from there.
Yep. If I'm not mistaken, Brooklyn even got a brewery in Brooklyn where they make a local beer.
Yeah, I forget it's like Brooklyn something. It's like Brooklyn something.
Yeah,
I've seen they have it in the stores out here.
They do have it. The funny thing about it is, all you got to do is, and this is the mind frame that we have to stop when it comes to black people. We have to stop listening to black people tell us the stereotypes of white people. Because we don't always act like they have it, they have the answer. If you listen to white people talk, a lot of them will tell you, well, me and my friend, we had 2 credit cards, took all the money off and invested into this, and that's how we started.
Oh, yeah, they do. They go through the same thing. They go through the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something particular to them that they go through that black folks don't go through, and vice versa. Yeah. And, you know, another thing that makes me so, when you start talking about black businesses, even during the height of slavery, you got Negroes out here, oh, that shit didn't happen. I say, well, who read the book? Well, you can put anything in a book. I say, well, you read the autobiography of Malcolm X, don't you? That's a book.
Right.
But anyway, man, I'll let y'all get back to your show.
Oh, yeah. Cause I'm about to crack open this Where Do We Go From Here from Martin Luther King. And before you go, I just want to read this one line that Martin Luther King said that I thought was pretty funny. He said, although the Negro is at the bottom of the economic ladder, his collective annual income is upwards of $30 billion. That gives him a considerable buying power that can make the difference between profit and loss in many businesses. Now, 2017, we're talking about $1.1 trillion we have in small spending power. Like, we don't even realize this is following a losing ideology.
Yeah, talking about numbers, I mean, that's good, but in really essence, blacks don't have no $1.1 trillion in spending power. People put that out there as sort of like a stopgate excuse of why come you're not doing anything. But use it as a number or use it whatever to gain whatever you're trying to gain, as long as it's making people get off their butts and do something, then that's cool. But you can't say that you're the poorest thing in one sentence, then in the next sentence you say you spend more than anybody else. Well, but we're doing better. You're doing better. Young people need to be presented with challenges in school that need to be introduced to out-of-the-box thinking. Young, they need to be assessed to see exactly what skills, natural skills they have, and start exploiting for them, introducing for them the things where they can utilize those natural skills to go on further. They may be mathematicians, may be doctors. I met another Nigerian doctor today. He's a doctor in internal medicine. Man, I know all the doctors I know is Nigerians. I know, I'll take that back. I know one sister, she's a doctor. Can't think of her name, though. It'll come to me. But Felicia. But that's what it is, man. If you want something, you got to put things in place in order to have it. That's all to it. And if you don't, if you're not willing to sacrifice, and you're not, over there in Nigeria, he told me, I think he said they had 30 some odd medical schools, and I don't know how many engineering schools. Because I asked him, I said, well, how do these Indians produce so many doctors? He said, that's what they do. It's the plan to produce doctors, because doctors can demand and participate in high salaried positions. And he told me, he said, we got 30 medical schools, research medical schools in Nigeria. And I don't know how many, I forget how many engineering schools he say they have. So
we definitely need more engineers. That's what you need to
damn right.
For that.
Doctors can cure problems, but engineers can solve the problem so it'll go away.
That's right. That's what I'm pushing my boys into. Straight engineering.
And get them a microscope, man, if you want to. You first see what he's good at. Get them a microscope. Introduce them telescopes. Don't let them be pouring it on hotel windows now. But get a telescope. Look at the planet.
I already told my son, he's real good talk. He said, Dad, how are the stars up there? I said, you know what? We're going to go to the planetarium, and we're gonna check it out. We're gonna look at all of that. Because he's really interested in a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, you can go to your local university. They have lectures. They talk on subjects, especially if you got a medical school. They be talking on medical subjects, engineering subjects, and they're free. Those lectures are free. You can go and sit down, and your young people can see how professionals talk and interact with one another, and they learn something from that. That's the way you got to do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and this is one thing. I know a Ghanaian friend of mine, him and an African American in a state out west, I ain't going to name the one, for the last 14 years they've been working on a cure for pancreatic cancer. And they doing it here because over there it's not a common disease. 14 years they've been working on this. And now they're about ready to start trials on animals. Well, they do the trials on animals, then guess what? They're going to have to sell it off to some larger pharmaceuticals because they have more infrastructure where they can go through the trials and stuff on people and be in compliance with the Federal Drug Administration. Well, hell, what they got may be worth $1 billion. I mean, 14 years of work has gotten to the point where it has passed those trials with animals. So it's a lot of things people can get involved in if they're dedicated, if they're thorough, steadfast, and, ready to sacrifice. All right, man, I'll let y'all go.
Appreciate it. Thanks, brother. Like always, man, the call is always welcomed here, and the information also. Peace and Black Power, brother. Let's give that nice applause. Yes, always good information, man. Y'all check out these farms and the agricultural sites so y'all can. Am I flowing? I do feel like I got a fat tongue, man. Yo, I am really fighting this food, man.
I'm tired too, man. Fiaki said you have a little meow in your throat.
Yeah, I'm trying to fight, man. But yeah, I've been on some pork like this morning.
That Chinese.
Right, so let's do this guest calling 646-716-4654 in Black America Radio. Where do we go from here? Chapter 2, part 2. So we're going to get into this book now. I'm on page 35. Man. And, I wanted to get into, this is, the chapter is Black Power, and this is basically Martin Luther King speaking on his observation of now his group splintering in two. One set that want to follow his plan and his purpose, you know what I'm saying, of basically like racial equality, working within black and white and things of this nature. And then the other set of black people that's like, man, we sick of this. We want some black power. We want some black independence. So now he's breaking on that observation. So he goes, there is also great disappointment with the federal government and its timidity in implementing the civil rights law on its statute books. The gap between promise and fulfillment is distressingly wide. Millions of Negroes are frustrated and angry because exaggerated promises made little more than a year ago are a mockery today. When the 1965 Voting Rights Law was signed, it was proclaimed as the dawn of freedom and an open door to opportunity. What was minimally required under the law was the appointment of hundreds of registrars and thousands of federal marshals to inhibit Southern terror. Instead, fewer than 60 registrars was appointed, and not a single federal law officer capable of making arrests was sent into the South. As a consequence, the old way of life, economic coercion, terrorism, murder, and inhumane contempt has continued unabated. This gulf between the law and their enforcement is one of the basic reasons why Black power advocates express contempt for the legislative process. Now, before I continue, to this day, 2017, Black power advocates express contempt for the legislative process. That's why you can go to the brothers like Sarnetta or something like that, and if you're saying something like, well, vote, then you'll hear, your vote don't count, that voting shit don't work, rah, rah, rah. That's where this comes from. This is so, none of this way we thinking is new. And I really believe that once we understand and we see the origins of it, then we'll take it to the next level. But if we keep thinking the way we think is new, and the shit we're going through is new, then we're going to think that what we think is new, we're going to keep down that path pretty much. Because we're going to think, nah, this must be what we got to do, not knowing that we already did it and it don't work. The disappointment mounts as they turn their eyes to the north. In the northern ghettos, unemployment, housing discrimination, and slum schools mock the Negro who tries to hope. There has been accomplishments and some material gains, but these beginnings have revealed how far we have yet to go. The economic plight of the masses of Negroes has worsened. The gap between the wages of the Negro worker and those of the white worker has widened. Slums are worse, and Negroes attend more thoroughly segregated schools today than in 1954. The Black power advocates are disenchanted with the inconsistencies in the militaristic posture of our government. Over the last decade, they have seen America applauded nonviolence wherever the Negroes have practiced it. They have watched it being praised in the sit-in movement of 1960, in the Freedom Ride of 1961, in the Alabama movement of 1962, in the Birmingham movement of 1963, and in the Selma movement of 1965. But then these same Black young men and women have watched an America send Black young men to burn Vietnamese with napalm and slaughter men, women, and children. And they wonder what kind of nation it is that applauds nonviolence whenever Negroes face white people in the streets of the United States, but then applaud violence and burning and death when these same Negroes are sent to the fields of Vietnam. All of this represents disappointment lifted to astronomical proportions. It is disappointment with timid white moderates who feel that they can set the timetable for the Negroes' freedom. It is disappointment with a federal administration that seems to be more concerned about winning an ill-considered war in Vietnam than about winning the war against poverty here at home. It is disappointment with white legislators who pass law on behalf of Negro rights that they never intend to implement. Ain't that the Ralph Norton shit, Smoke? You asking them, yo, what about this, what about that? He not even, shit don't change. So he goes, it is disappointment with the Christian church that appears to be more white than Christian, and with many white clergymen who prefer to remain silent behind the security of stained glass windows. It is disappointment with some Negro clergymen who are more concerned about the size of the wheelbase on their automobiles than about the quality of their service to the Negro community. Should I read that again, Smoke? Disappointment with some Negro clergymen who are more concerned about the size of the wheelbase on their automobiles than about the quality of their service to the Negro community. This is 1967 I'm reading from. This is Martin Luther King observing his time.
We still love rims and cars and shit like that. That's crazy.
And it's your clergyman. How many that's living it up.
You already know.
And you're
taking that paper
falling apart. Yeah,
through in the caddy.
Ain't shit changed. But here's the funny thing, Smoke. So that's what King said. This is 1967, right? Go back to Up from Slavery, Booker T. Washington in the 1800s, 1890 something, where he said, or 1880 something, where he said, it seemed like soon as you learned how to read, all of a sudden God called you to be a preacher. And he was like, basically in a nutshell, he said, I know it's bullshit, but you know what? Maybe in the future this shit'll get better. It'll get real. They won't, you know what I'm saying, it won't be so flagrant. But in 1967, King is saying it's a disappointment with some Negro clergymen who is more concerned with the size of the wheelbase on their automobile than the quality of their service to the Negro community. That's every ghetto is like that. But we think we're moving forward? We think this plan that we're following is right and exact? No. No, this is an old plan, and we just repeating this shit over and over. We never move forward. So then it goes like this. It is a disappointment with the Negro middle class that he sailed or struggled out of the muddy ponds into the relatively fresh flower and water of the mainstream, and in the process have forgotten the stench of the backwaters where their brothers are still drowning. That's still happening. That's still happening today. All that shit is, it's a disappointment with Negro middle class that have gotten out the ghetto. And now that they live better, they turn their backs on their brothers and sisters and shit on them because they living good now. That's, to this day, is happening. Ain't shit changed. Second, black power, in its broad and positive meaning, is a call to black people to amass the political and economic strength to achieve their legitimate goals. No one could deny that the Negro is in dire need of this kind of legitimate power. Indeed, one of the great problems that the Negro confronts is his lack of power. From the old plantation of the South to the newer ghettos of the North, the Negro has been confined to a life of voicelessness and powerlessness. Stripped of the rights to make decisions concerning his life and destiny, he has been subject to the authoritarian and sometimes whimsical decision of the white power structure. The plantation and the ghetto were created by those who had both power to confine those who had no power and to perpetuate their powerlessness. I'm going to read that again. Stripped of the right to make decisions concerning his life and destiny. This is stripped away from us. He had been subject to the authoritarian and sometimes whimsical decision of the white power structure. The plantation and the ghetto was created by those who had power both to confine those who had no power and to perpetuate their powerlessness. We're still dealing with that. That's why you hear black people screaming racism, white supremacy. You see? Because we don't want power for ourselves, Smoke. We don't want to stand on our own. We don't want an economy where we can sustain and take care of ourselves. We don't want products that we know we buy because this is what black people produce and make. No, we want what white people have. We want to be equal to white people. You want to be equal to the same to the people who ancestors enslaved your people. You want to be equal to them. And as long as you keep fighting to be equal for another group of people, because you can't be equal without an economy. You cannot be equal begging for work. You see what I'm saying? There's no equality in that. So when you're sitting over here begging white people to live, what happened is they have control of your life and your destiny. And they exploit your weakness. They exploit your powerlessness. And then you got these pimps who tell you that they're your leaders. They'll turn around now and they want to hustle bread out of you. You got the clergyman pimping you into a religious ideology that all of this suffering you're doing going to benefit when you go to the Lord. And then you got the black power pimp who going to pimp to you and tell you, donate money to me. I got the answer. I got the key. The white man and his white power structure, we got to fight him. Pick up your guns. Both of them pimping you.
Yeah.
You got to
neither one of them fit.
How can I? What happened?
No, I was just gonna say neither one of them fit into that white system, so they have to pimp us. They have to pimp out their own people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got to pimp out their own people. I mean, at the end of the day, like, explain that through the sports system that we're in right now, Smoke. With the sports.
What you mean? What you mean? Like, oh,
the same powerlessness, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, shit. Since you want to talk about sports, I mean, the hot topic is the NFL right now with the protests and so forth. And so, in the structure of the NFL, you have multiple owners. In the case, I think it's 32 teams, 32 owners that own football teams, and we have to play for. Well, we don't have to play for, but we choose to play for. So, and they play under a contract, under a collective bargaining agreement between the owners and the players, in which the players have to play under that agreement. Anything outside of that, their money could be voided with no repercussions. You know what I mean? They could be waived off the team. So when you have a situation like where you're dependent, where the players, because they play football for money. You know what I mean? Everybody talks about
but they're dependent. Stuff like that. Like you said, they're dependent. As long as you're dependent, you're powerless.
They play for the money.
And the whole kneeling and all that shit, that's them showing that I'm gonna perpetuate your powerlessness. I'm gonna show you that you have no power. Stand, kneel, lock arms, do the hokey pokey, spin yourself around, and everybody doing that. That's how what people do when you don't got power. To show that you don't got no power, to show Terry Crews you don't got no power, I'm gonna grab his dick in front of his wife. You see what I'm saying? The powerless is always going to be exploited by the powerful. So you always got to say to yourself, how do I prepare myself? How do I protect myself? How do I make myself powerful now? How do I defend myself? Where is my counter shit? Where is my armor? You know what I'm saying? If these niggas coming for me, where's my gun? Where's my knife? Where's something to protect myself? We don't think that far because we too caught up in morals. Watch this shit, Smoke. The problem of transforming the ghetto is therefore a problem of power. A confrontation between the force of power demanding change and the forces of power dictated to preserving the status quo. Let me read that again. The problem of transforming the ghetto is therefore a problem of power. A confrontation between the force of power demanding change and the force of power dedicated to preserving the status quo. Power, and this is King's viewpoint of power, which I thought was pretty interesting. Power, properly understood, is the ability to achieve purpose. It is the strength required to bring about social, political, and economic changes. In this sense, power is not only desirable, but necessary in order to implement the demands of love and justice. One of the greatest problems of history is that the concept of love and power are usually contrasted, polar opposites. love is identified with the registration of power, and power with a denial. Oh, let me read that again. Love is identified with a resignation of power, and power with a denial of love. It was the misinterpretation that caused Nietzsche, the philosopher of the will to power, to reject the Christian concept of love. It was the same misinterpretation which induced Christian theologians to reject Nietzsche's philosophy of the will to power. In the name of the Christian idea of love, what is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. I'm going to read that again. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive. That's power without love. And that love without power is sentimental and anemic. And we're still dealing with that right now. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. Justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. And again, this isn't what's right and wrong. This is a man named Martin Luther King who is trying to figure something out. It's not for us to sit there and judge this man or to criticize this man. You have to understand, we all are men living in this situation, trying to figure it out. We all are women living in this situation, trying to figure this out. And unfortunately, there's children who don't have that strong adult parental structure, and they're trying to figure it out themselves. You know what I mean, Smoke? So it's like it's not for us to criticize people who come up with ideas. It's to say which of these ideas work, which ones don't work, how do we tweak here, how do we correct there. There is nothing essentially wrong with power. The problem is that in America, power is, now listen to this, Smoke. There is nothing essentially wrong with power. The problem is that in America, power is unequally distributed. This had led Negro Americans in the past to seek their goals through love and moral suasions devoid of power, and white Americans to seek their goals through power devoid of love and consequence. Still going on now. Still going on now. We use morals, right and wrong, with no intent on power. That's why we don't understand economy. That's why we don't understand the importance of having your own toothbrush, having your own toothpaste, making your own do-rags, like the sister said. It is easy. All you got to do is take a do-rag off and look at it, how it's made. It's just easy as hell. How to make dishwashing liquid, how to make soap. You know what I'm saying? How do you do these things? But see, when you're only thinking that moral shit, you're not thinking about how to come up. Now, white people now, they seek their goals through power, devoid of love and consequence. So how do they do that? They do that through law and politics. You see what I'm saying? So as they lock down law, lock down politics, lock down business, they want to control your aspects, gerrymandering. We're going to create rules to keep you from voting. What do black people say, Smoke? They're wicked. Look what they're doing. That's mean. But now one time do we say to ourselves, yo, never again. We're not going to let that happen again. No, we get moral. Because we're literally living, like everybody's going to pick up the Bible, right, Smoke? Oh, we're in the end of times. We're in the end of times. I'm reading the times we're in right now in this Martin Luther King book. We literally is still stuck in 1960 something. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, keep talking about power and love, and I mean, when you was reading that over, or was reading along or whatever, that's how white people have what they have. They have power because they don't love us, so they can sit and do whatever it is necessary to make them move forward. And that's our problem. We want them to love us. We want at the end of the day, we want white people to love us. We want them to embrace us, put their arm around us, give us jobs. That's what we want. You know what I mean? If we take that emotional aspect away from it and understand what the true power is, then we'll be able to move forward. So it was funny that that he was putting out that concept of love and power, because them not loving us is why they can continue to be in power, because they will make the necessary laws to keep us where we are and keep them in power.
Yeah, and that's why I said that, and that's why anybody that asks me, yo, what book should I read, brother? What book should I read? I'll be like, where do we go from here, Chaos or Community? Martin Luther King's last book. And when I say that, you know what I see black people do? Martin Luther King. Anybody trying to read no Martin Luther King? Nah, my nigga. Read that shit. Read it, because you're literally living in that time. That's how you can understand how are we even in the position that we in. You got to understand, these people that's during this time are still in control of us. And they're following the same ideology that King is just coming up with ideas. He's just sitting over here trying to analyze shit and figure shit out and be like, damn, yo, you know what? Let's see how we can merge love and power together. You see what I'm saying? He ain't trying to separate this shit. He ain't trying to be like, you know what? Nah, we're going to stick with the moral shit. He like, nah, the moral shit, we need that. We need that. But why we can't have the power too? Martin Luther King is a preacher. And he says, yo, the reason why these group of black people is stepping away from this Christianity stuff and this nonviolent stuff is because they're disappointed, yo. They're looking at what's going on. We got preachers around here driving around in big Cadillacs and shit. That's why they mad. All this brother's doing is analyzing. But what we do is we get people that tell us stuff. We don't look at shit. We get people who tell us shit. But then they turn around and they say, no, what Martin Luther King, what he wanted was, what he was for. Yo, here's a book right here where this man wrote it himself. Yo, this is what I was thinking. This is what I analyzed. This is the conclusions I came to. You know what I'm saying? And things of this nature. So then he goes, in his struggle for racial justice, the Negro must seek to transform his condition of powerlessness into creative and positive power. He talks about a speech he wrote called Why We Can't Wait. I wrote at length of the need of Negroes to unite for political action in order to compel the majority to listen. I urge the development of political awareness and strength in the Negro community, the election of blacks to key positions, and that's what Roland Martin was saying. How many black people was up for election, right? And the use of the block vote to liberalize the political climate and achieve our just aspirations for freedom and human dignity. That's the Atlanta's mayoral race between Keisha Lance Bottoms and Mary Norwood. That's us using our black block vote to get the sister in. My question is, what are we doing once we get that? Once we get these blacks in these key positions, what happens next? So then it goes, to the extent that black power advocates these goals, it is a positive and legitimate call to action that we in the civil rights movement have sought to follow all along and which we must intensify in the future. Black power is also a call for the pooling of black financial resources to achieve economic security. To this day, we still say that. Every time you hear black people say, if we just pull our money together, if all black people, all of that shit comes from this ideology. These are not original thoughts. These are not original thoughts. While the ultimate answer to the Negro's economic dilemma will be found in a massive, this is King, while the ultimate answer to the Negro economic dilemma will be found in a massive federal program for all the poor along the lines of A. Philip Randolph's Freedom Budget, Philip Randolph's Freedom Budget. Can you Google that real quick, Smoke? A. Philip Randolph's Freedom Budget. Yeah, so you can see, what that is. So that's his freedom budget. A kind of Marshall Plan for the disadvantaged. There is something that the Negro himself can do to throw off the shackles of poverty. Although the Negro is still at the bottom of the economic ladder, his collective annual income is upwards of $30 billion. This gives him a considerable buying power that can make the difference between profit and loss in many businesses. So the pooling of such resources and the development of habits and thrift, and technique of wise investment, the Negro will be doing his share to grapple with his problem of economic deprivation. If black power means the development of this kind of strength within the Negro community, then it is a quest for basic necessity and legitimate power. So right there, King is saying, if this is what black power is going to achieve, hey, I see no problem with black power. But if black power is just a reaction based upon your disillusion and disapproval of the white power structure, he's saying he's not for that. Now that's up for the individual to decide. Me, I stand on black power. But I stand on black economic power, but we can't have economic power without an economy. Finally, black power is a psychological call to manhood. For years, the Negro have been taught that he is nobody, that his color is a sign of his biological depravity, that his being has been stamped with an inedible imprint of inferiority, that his whole history has been soiled with the filth of worthlessness. All too few people realize how slavery and racial segregation had scarred the soul and wounded the spirit of the black man. The whole dirty business of slavery was based on the premise that the Negro was a thing to be used, not a person to be respected. The historian Kenneth Stamp, in his remarkable book, The Peculiar Institution, that's where I got the book from, has a fascinating section on the psychological indoctrination that was necessary from the master's viewpoint to make a good slave. He gathered the material for this section primarily from the manuals and other documents which were produced by slave owners on the subject of training slaves. Stamp notes 5 recurrent aspects of this training. So we have 3 more minutes. Guest calling number 646-716-4654 in Black America Radio.
I found that A. Philip Randolph joint too, the Freedom Budget. In the Freedom Budget, they basically when the intro says that the purpose of it was the Freedom Budget is a practical step-by-step plan for wiping out poverty in America during the next 10 years. And then it has 7 points that they want basic objectives. So it says the freedom budget provides 7 basic objectives, which taken together will achieve this great goal within 10 years, which is to provide full employment for all who are willing and able to work, including those who need education or training to make them willing and able. 2, to assure decent and adequate wages to all who work. 3, to assure a decent living standard to those who cannot or should not work. 4, to wipe out slum ghettos and provide decent homes for all Americans. 5, to provide decent medical care and adequate educational opportunities to all Americans at a cost they can afford. 6, to purify our air and water and develop our transportation and natural resources on a scale suitable to our growing needs. And 7, to unite gainful employment within sustainable production and high economic growth. So those are the 7 points of the freedom budget.
And I'm wondering if we're still following that. Because a lot of what's being said is, once again, working within white society, working for white people, but just being respected as we work for white people. Now, as you read that, right, because this is how we're going to end the show, not in the 1 minute, right? Guys, call in number 646-716-4354. You can catch the rest of the show on YouTube and Black America Radio. But we're going to break down the 5 recurring aspects of this training to make you a slave. So we're going to read these 5, break that down, and then we'll close out the show with that. So here goes. First, those who managed the slave had to maintain strict discipline. One master said, unconditional submission is the only footing upon which slavery should be placed. Another said, the slave must know that his master is to govern absolutely, and he is to obey implicitly, that he is never for a moment to exercise either his will or judgment in opposition to a positive order. You can apply all of this shit to the football shit too, Smoke. It goes, second, the master felt that they had to implant in the bondsman, ain't that some shit, bondsman, right? A consciousness of personal inferiority. This sense of inferiority was deliberately extended to his past. The slave owners were convinced that in order to control the Negro, the slaves had to feel that African ancestry tainted them. I'm going to read that again. This sense of inferiority, second, the master felt that they had to implant in the bondsman a consciousness of personal inferiority. This sense of inferiority was deliberately extended to his past. The slave owners were convinced that in order to control the Negro, the slave had to feel that African ancestry tainted them. Hebrews, those dirty African, stinking African. I'm not an African, I'm from the tribe of Judah. Moors. You see what I'm saying? All of this. We're not from Africa. We all didn't come from Africa. We from America. I'm part of the Indians. Even though the Indians enslaved you, right? Because they always like to name the 5 civilized Indians, ironically. They said the Negro, the slaves had to feel that African ancestry tainted them. that their color was a badge of degradation. The third step in the training process was to awe the slaves with a sense of the master's enormous power. It was necessary, various owners said, to make them stand in fear. And you hear that every time you speak on building the economy, Smoke. Oh, you gonna do? You gonna tear it down? Wait, man. You know, I'm surprised they won't kill that brother and all kind of shit. And you're like, fuck, you know, all that come. Don't even get it. The fourth aspect was the attempt to persuade the bondsman to take an interest in the master's enterprise and to accept his standard of good conduct. Let me read that again. The fourth aspect was the attempt to persuade the bondsman to take an interest in the master's enterprise, his building, his workforce, his society, and to accept his standard of good conduct. Thus, the master's criteria of what was good and true and beautiful were to be accepted unquestionably by the slaves. To this day, Smoke, we still follow that rule. You see what I'm saying? To this day, we still follow that rule. And the final step, according to Stamp's document, was to impress Negroes with their helplessness, to create in them a bit of perfect dependence upon their master. We need jobs. We need jobs. Racial equality. You see what I'm saying? We want to be the moral police for white people. Why? Because these are the 5 steps to keep your black ass a slave. These are the 5 steps. And then I got the peculiar institution, right? I ain't even read that. I just got this shit today. But let me bust a little shit down right here, Smoke. Let me bust a little shit down right here. Religious instruction not only benefit the slave in his moral relations, but enhance his value as an honest, faithful servant and laborer. That's your religion, right? It says church leaders now argue that the gospel, instead of becoming a means of creating trouble and strife, was really the best instrument to preserve peace and good conduct amongst the Negroes. Now watch, we're going to use bondsmen again. Through religious instruction, the bondsmen learned that slaves had divine sanction, that insolence was as much an offense against God as against the temporal master, your earthly master. And they heard of the punishments awaiting. They received the biblical command that servants should obey their masters. And they heard of the punishments awaiting the disobedient slaves in the hereafter. That's the heaven and hell. They heard, too, that eternal salvation would be the reward for faithful service, and that on the day of judgment, God would deal impartially with the poor and the rich, the black man and the white. Another part. A committee of a South Carolina agricultural society reported that religion contributed much to the government and discipline of the slave population. Here's another part. Many claims that imparting Christian doctrine to impressionable slaves children was especially beneficial. It taught them respect and obedience to their superiors, made them more pleasant and profitable servants, and aided the discipline of the plantation in a wonderful manner. Others noticed a decline in theft when bondsmen got religion.
Yeah, that's gonna
so
be
we don't get it. You know what I'm saying? We don't get it. And this shit is coming from the owners of enslaved Africans. This is not a black man breaking down what the white devil cracker ass is doing. No. This is a white researcher or whatever named Kenneth M. Stamp, and he's gathering information from his people, what they said, how they did you, how they did us, how they put us in the position that we in. So that's going to be a deep book. I'm going to read into that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to hit on that soon. But, you know, it's another Friday. Shout out to the Sister Sapphire. Shout out to the Brother Pianki.
Sure.
You know? As always, go to that Twitter in Black America 7, Facebook in Black.America, or just type in Bobby Black, YouTube in Black America Radio, Instagram in Black America Radio. Yeah, I am beat. I am about to take that to sleep. Smoke, you got anything else you got to say?
Come on, yo, man, another good show, man. I love when the callers call in. You know, Sapphire calling in, repeat caller.